I'm sure many of you have seen or heard about the Last Jedi's novelization, and the first few pages that indicate Luke may have had a wife. However, all is not as it seems, because Luke's wife was a vision, a dream brought on by the Force itself, calling to him during his isolation on Ahch-To. But you're probably asking yourself, didn't Luke cut himself off from the Force in The Last Jedi? Well, maybe not. The novelization goes on to say that the Force had cloaked itself in a dream, trying to break past the defences he had against it. Is purposely shielding yourself from the Force the same as cutting yourself off? Well, who knows? In canon that's up for debate, but in Legends, cutting off oneself from the Force was fatal to almost anybody, except a select few. During this dream, Luke saw a vision, an alternate past in which he never followed Leia's message. He stands as an old man, staring at the horizon, looking at the sunset of the twin suns, reminiscing at what could have been had he followed the message he had been given all those years ago by a long-gone R2 unit. His wife stood by his side, Cammy Marstrap, or Skywalker as she was known, a woman who was played by Ku Stark in the deleted scenes of A New Hope, and she was curious. She felt as if Luke was distant, somewhere else. They began to discuss their lives, Luke and Cammy, intrigued and frightened at the possibility of a Star Destroyer that Luke believed he had heard lingering in the sky. But as they spoke, Luke's mind wandered, thinking of his old friend Biggs Darklighter, who had died somewhere far away, back to the time he had risked going out at night to retrieve the R2 unit that showed him the message, back to the time when the stormtroopers took his uncle for questioning and stole the two droids, despite the failed attempts of the strange old Ben Kenobi, who pled with them that Owen and the droids were not worth taking. He never again saw old Ben past that day, but the rumours had claimed a gunship may have destroyed his homestead in the night. And even though Luke enjoyed his life, becoming partners with Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, marrying Cammy, although never having children, and living comfortably, he always thought about the girl in the message, Princess Leia Organa, who was executed a short while after. He always wondered why she sought out an old hermit in the sands of Tatooine, but alas, it didn't matter. Whatever her goal, it had failed, with the battle station that protected the galaxy ending the rebel threat, destroying Alderaan, Mon Cala and Chandrila. As his mind returned to the present with his wife, she was questioning the expression on Luke's face, an expression of regret, imagining a life in which he followed his friends to the academy. But Luke assured her that where he was the only place he wanted to be. The two walked together back to their home, but Luke looked around one last time, looking back up into the darkened night sky. Then he awoke, back on Ahch-To, back to his true reality. Now I have to say it's no Mara Jade, but honestly reading this segment in the Last Jedi novel was quite saddening. The way it was written was so sombre and reflective, and it certainly was an emotional few pages. Just envisioning the idea that the story we know and love never happened was quite powerful. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, and if you want to see more content like this, lore videos and a lot more, perhaps consider subscribing and joining the community. Also, if you feel like my content, and I deserve it, take a quick look at my Patreon page for ways to help support the channel further and get some cool rewards in the process. Also, please join my Discord if you haven't. I'd love to have you there so we can talk about Star Wars. I'll see you in the next video, but until then, may the Force be with you. Always.